It's Kevin Keatsman Uncanceled on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio, 95.7 FM. I'm Kevin Keatsman, your host for the next hour, leading you up to the Vince Show. We got a full show for you today on this Tuesday. Andrew Potter will join us in about a half an hour from the Battle Within. We've been honoring and celebrating Veterans Day today in many ways, not the least of which is our wonderful organization that we are partnered with, the battlewithin.org, here in the Kansas City area, which has done so many great things for so many service people, not just military veterans, but service people as well. It's going to be great to talk with Andrew Potter. He's the co-founder of the Battle Within. He's a former captain in the 75th Ranger Regiment. He is the founder of ROKC Climbing Gym. This guy's a businessman. He does a lot of things. They have raised $3 million for the Battle Within playing wiffle ball, if you can believe that. That's how much of a go-getter these folks are. And he and his wife, Alexis, are having a Hero's Journey celebration dinner coming up in February. So we got a lot to talk about with Andrew Potter coming up at 10:30. Also, we've got some really interesting news later for Mark in the NFL that he doesn't know that I'm springing on him. One player in real trouble, one player saved this week. Big off-field news. We'll get into all that. And maybe, just maybe, the single greatest Trump post of all time coming up in our next segment. So stick around for that one. We do start today by recognizing all the people that have served this great land of ours, beginning hundreds of years ago up until today. We want to remind everybody that has someone in their family or a friend or in their circle that's a veteran that there are freebies and discounts everywhere. Go to your search engine and just do Veterans Day discounts. There's too many businesses to list. There's free food. There's free entertainment. There's free for a veteran. It's all out there today. So be sure and remind everybody. I was reminded of this yesterday by a man named Chris Benson, who's got an ad agency here in Kansas City. He works for ThriveMediaKC.com. It's a military-owned, veteran-owned and operated agency, and he was a guest on my podcast. And he's found all the local places in Kansas City. If you want to hear those, you can go to my podcast from yesterday and hear all those. Chris Benson goes through all the local businesses. If you Google or search or wherever you search, you'll find the national businesses that have free things. But it's pretty cool that we recognize veterans the way that we do. We should probably do way more, but at least it's something and it feels good to do. Okay, we'll start today with, I've got information coming on the Royals and the stadium issue. Don't get all weird like, uh-oh. I'm so sick of all this stuff. I think it's really close, folks. I think we're really close on both fronts. I do. And I've not thought that at any point in this process, but I do think we're really close this time. But we start today with Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, who dropped what I thought was a bombshell with Jake Tapper yesterday, and it went nowhere. Nobody's picking the story up. Nobody's talking about it. I was, I guess, a little shocked. But maybe it's because those people on the liberal left in the media don't want this story out there. The Speaker of the House was on with Jake Tapper, and he said, we had a problem during the shutdown. Schumer was publicly for it and saying all these things that clearly now are lies because he orchestrated it coming back open with these other senators jumping ship. All the time, he was calling me and Senator Thune asking for a backroom meeting with Hakeem Jeffries, just the four of them, where they would work out a private deal and nobody would know about it. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, says, quote, that is never appropriate, unquote, for something that is short-term funding. It basically, if there's honor among thieves, apparently there's an honor code of some sort with the House of Representatives and the Senate, where when they're working on short funding, it's a continuing resolution, and then you go meet and discuss things. And he made a big deal out of this, that Chuck Schumer was way out of line, asking for a private backdoor meeting to save his own rear end and potentially run again for Senate. Schumer's in real trouble with the Democrat Party. Everybody knows that. And now Mike Johnson has put it out there that Schumer was pressuring Johnson and Thune to meet in a back room privately, off the record, work something out, say they figured it out, it's done, and announce what it is. And I think it's great that Mike Johnson's coming forward with this To me, it's meaningful. Transparency in my government is meaningful to me. They all talk about it. They rarely do it. We're seeing a lot of it with the Trump administration. We certainly saw a lot with his post last night that I'll share in the next segment. Boy, was it a doozy. But I'm proud of Mike Johnson for saying that. I'm sure that made Jake Tapper uncomfortable and a lot of Democrats uncomfortable. This story needs legs. It needs to be out there that, yes, Chuck Schumer was reeling so badly, it needs to be known within his own party. The wild liberal left of that party needs to all know this, that he was lying to Democrats. Forget you and me. Forget us. He was lying to Democrats. He was saying things publicly and trying to work a backroom deal with Speaker Johnson and Leader Thune and save his own rear end. And Johnson has said that's never appropriate in a short-term funding scenario. Never. Apparently there's honor among thieves somehow. I think that's a bigger story than what it's gotten played. I thought you might find it interesting. I think you'll find this interesting as well. Steve McDowell is the principal at BNIM Architects in Kansas City. They're at Crown Center, and I was invited down to their headquarters yesterday to meet with him and Gib Kerr and another gentleman, Vince, who's in real estate. Really nice folks. They showed me the entire plan that they have for Washington Square Park, which for a better term, actually, because people don't know what that is a Crown Center Stadium. That would be a better way to promote the Royals being near downtown, Crown Center. Everybody knows where Crown Center is. It's literally across the street from the Westin, and to the west is Union Station. And there is enough space, and there's enough roads, and they showed me the plan, and the land is cheaper, and there's a lot of things there that absolutely would work. But over the course of the meeting, I think it became very apparent, and I asked them point blank, you guys feel like you're in third place, right? And they said yes. And they have not had a lot of contact with the Royals recently, and they're trying to reach out to people and get people talking about this location. Again, I understand why they invited me there, and I appreciate it. And I respect them for doing it. These are excellent people that are very committed to downtown Kansas City and Crown Center, and I understand why they want the Royals to stay in Kansas City, Missouri, and Jackson County. Over the course of the meeting, nothing was ever discussed about Jackson County helping out. And that stood out to me in this meeting. Where's the money coming from? Kansas City, Missouri? Yes. Parks and Rec, Port KC, the money would come from Kansas City, Missouri. So for me, the headline of the meeting is the people that want to build a stadium with the Royals at Crown Center, and they're still in it, but they're probably a distant third. They're still in it. There's no Jackson County element. Folks, everybody has given up on Jackson County. That's the story here of the Royals and Chiefs. The state of Kansas is offering 70%, and Jackson County is flailing. Now, can Phil Lavoda do anything about that? Is that really even on his radar? Is that very high up compared to property taxes, I don't think the Royals and Chiefs register with anybody in Jackson County. I could be wrong. I don't live there. But I hear from a lot of folks that do. And they're not as concerned about keeping a team as they are getting their property taxes lower and getting their government reeled in a little bit to operate the county in a better fashion. So I came out of that meeting with that. They didn't say this, the point blank, and I'm not putting any of them on the record as giving me a quote here or anything like this, but it was about a 90-minute meeting. When I left the meeting, got in my car in the parking garage, started driving home, I had one thing on top of my mind from the entire meeting, and that is Overland Park is in the lead by about 27 miles on getting the Royals. When I combine everything that they knew, everything that they said, everything that was going on, there's no other way, including a very important point that they made to me, and that is the Royals are basically in to that Overland Park land for about $300 million at this point. They hold the mortgage on the land. They've signed off on the mortgage, which, according to many people, they'll just be able to, if they don't do Overland Park, they can flip the mortgage and make a profit on the mortgage, like instantly. They can sell it off and make money on that. They're not going to lose money on the mortgage. So we can say they've invested, but they don't stand any risk to lose any of the money they've put in. But the Royals and their affiliates are basically in for about $300 million on that site. Well, how dumb are we all going to feel if and when the Royals announce they're going to Overland Park that we didn't look at this months ago and would say, well, of course, they've got $300 million in this thing. Of course, that's where they wanted to go. Look, here's the business part of this. There is nothing financially that compares to Overland Park. First of all, it's the state of Kansas paying 70%. That's before they get incentives from Johnson County, Overland Park, maybe even Leawood, and other entities, business leaders. We're watching businesses move to Overland Park. Across the street from Cumulus right here in Corporate Woods is the new world headquarters of Morton Salt. You've seen the building, right, Mark?
Yeah.
And you've driven by and said, what's that all about? I didn't know Morton Salt was in Kansas City. Did you?
I just found out because the new amphitheater is named after them.
Correct.
That's what triggered it for me.
Because their world headquarters are now here. After 100 and, wait a second, where's the number here? 177 years in Chicago, which is the 39th most business-friendly state, Illinois. They've relocated to Overland Park. And now they're the sponsored name of the amphitheater. If we get to it later, we're going to give away some artists that have already announced they're coming to the new amphitheater in Riverside. This is what's happening here. There's a lot of business. The Lockton Company is planning on moving, it looks like, from the Plaza to Overland Park. The Royals are involved in all this. They love these companies. They love these businesses who buy suites. They want to be by the rich people. Now, there is no guarantee that this can happen for the Royals. They literally may be in a situation where they may announce in the next few weeks that Overland Park is their plan, and it may fall through. Like, there is no 100% green light that Overland Park, Johnson County, Leawood, that these people are on board with this. You may see a revolt from some of these homeowners. It could get ugly. All right, that space was not built or developed at any point for a Major League Baseball stadium. Okay, that was a corporate campus. Nice, quiet, multi-building corporate campus for the Sprint Corporation. That's what all that land was for, and that's what they all did. Not 81 nights a year with a triple-decker stadium and lights up into the skies with little. We're gonna have to have red lights at the top too for airplanes flying around, landing at the Johnson County Airport out on 135th Street. Right, airport's just down the road. Gonna have to be careful to not hit that stadium when you're flying in. I mean, nothing about Overland Park says baseball stadium to me, except the money. And what do we know about team owners? Oh, my God, they love money. So much more than anything else, they love money. The Chiefs see dollar signs in Wyandotte County. The Royals see dollar signs in Overland Park. I don't know, but I found it very interesting as I was chatting with these guys. I brought this up. I said, well, could the Royals be doing a bait and switch here? Could they, first it was East Village, then it was Crossroads. They all fell through. Why not, before this Kansas deadline, accept the deal? Say you're going to Overland Park, and if it falls through, you can't push it through the city council or the county commission. If it falls through, your fallback position is the other two that are sitting there waiting anyway. You never lose them. Those options would still be on the table for the Royals. Why would they not take the Overland Park deal now? And if they can't make it happen, or they change their mind and don't want it to happen, they can walk away and go to one of the other two. Why would you let Kansas expire? That was my takeaway from this meeting yesterday. I'm fascinated by all this. I know this. These owners are going to make a lot of money. The Royals and Chiefs are lucky, lucky, lucky owners to be in this town. No NFL owner has ever received 70% of a brand new stadium paid for by a state. No Major League Baseball owner has ever received 70% of a brand new ballpark paid for by a state. It has never happened anywhere in America in the NFL or Major League Baseball. They're both sitting on gold mines. 913-408-7957. If you'd like to join the show, we'll take your calls next. This is Uncanceled on KCMO. Hey, welcome back to the show. Thanks for being with us. Coming up in just a few minutes, Andrew Potter joins us from The Battle Within. He is the co-founder and local businessman, entrepreneur. Good stuff coming up on that front as it's Veterans Day today. I want to share with you a post from Donald Trump. And I have good ideas that I never execute, or what I think are good ideas and never execute. Every now and then I come up with an idea for like a coffee table book because, I wouldn't even begin to know how to put together like a novel or something like that. That wouldn't be me. I'm not an author. So that's out. What if you did, because this one has to be for me in the top 10. This is way up there with me. But what if you put together a coffee table book, Donald Trump posts? You just flip through. There's one post on each page. I mean, you could go back through his library, and they're just unbelievably great. This one came out last night. Folks, you got to hear this if you haven't heard it. This is Donald Trump posting on social media. Quote, many in the fake news media have claimed that we will begin denying visas to overweight people. They've even come up with a term for these people, high-calorie humans. This is the President of the United States, folks. This is totally false. We will not ban all fat people from entering our great country, only those whose poor health will overburden our healthcare system. Visa applicants who are only slightly overweight have nothing to worry about. The bigger ones will need to trim down to get approved. We will expand this rule to cover expats in the near future. Rosie, you will never return to this great country. Thanks for your attention to this matter. Donald J. Trump. I assume it's legit. I mean, Trump posts everything. I just think that's unbelievable. But the point here is get people talking about this. Any way that this stuff gets circulated, and we can get people talking about what type of person will we allow in and not allow in, is constructive. It doesn't look, I don't think we should be doing 50-year mortgages. He throws all kinds of stuff out there. That 50-year mortgages could literally keep families in poverty their entire life and never allow them to pay off their home. The interest alone is the biggest waste of your lifetime, stretching it out that far. It's bad for you. A 50-year loan is a bad idea for the consumer. To save a couple $100 a month, you may throw away $500,000 over your lifetime. You're basically giving up your life savings. Now, there's a lot of these things are not very good ideas that Trump has, but anything he can do to advance a national discussion of who should we allow in and not allow in, I'm all for it. And I'd never thought of it this way. We should allow healthy people in. Yes. You should look healthy, maybe pass a small physical in order to come in. There's a lot of things we could do. These are all fantastic ideas, if you ask me. All right, to the phones we go. We start today with John in Independence on KCMO Talk Radio. Hi, John.
I'm a high-calorie human myself.
Well, but you're not an immigrant. You were born here. You're good.
No, I know. I had in regards to the the Chiefs, they move over by the racetrack, and if the Royals move down into Johnson County, that's fine and dandy. What happens to the Truman Complex? Because they just can't let that thing sit there.
Why?
They're going to have to tear it down, and that's going to cost taxpayers.
Oh, yeah. No, there's big.
Down.
Yeah, they know Jackson County knows they're in for a big expense to tear those things down unless they can repurpose them somehow, which I doubt will happen. They're going to sit empty for a while. You know, what do we have at the airport? We still got all kinds of stuff at the airport.
Yeah, but who's to say that? Well, I'm sure they'll have to hire security guards to keep vagrants and homeless and drug dealers and everything out of the place.
Well, you know, there's a former Adams Mark Hotel across the street that literally has windows boarded up.
Yes, as a matter of fact, that's the place you all had the party after the big walkout.
Right.
Back, like I was at that walkout thing, and it was like that was a nice hotel back then, but man, it's an eyesore now. That's the Truman. It'll be the same over across the street.
And I give the Royals credit. At least from day one, they said we're out of here. This is failing. We're not here anymore. We're done. And so they've changed their discussion. Nobody's saying stay at Kauffman Stadium anymore. The Chiefs have clung on, have people clinging on to this staying at Arrowhead. But I always look at it like this. If Clark Hunt had a team in, let's say, Dallas, and there's two teams in Dallas, and he was going to move like his dad, and he had two options in Kansas City. You can go to Arrowhead Stadium and renovate it, or you can build a brand new stadium in Kansas. Which one do you think he'd take?
He's going to build a new stadium.
Of course he is. Of course.
And I have no problem with that.
Why would you stay there where there's boarded up hotel windows across the street?
Exactly. And I believe what was a Taco Bell and a Denny's that are all boarded up.
Well, the Denny's is gone, but the Taco Bell is thriving. It's right next to a gas station. It's perfect.
Right. Anyway, though, that's just a consideration. That's going to cost them money. That ain't cheap to take stuff down.
Yep.
As much as it costs to put it up, it'll probably take about half as much to knock it down or more.
You're right, buddy. Thanks for the call, man. No, he's dead on. There's going to be big expense for Jackson County. They're going to be on the hook for this. There's been some studies done. I don't know why something like $3.5 million is sticking in my head. It seems like it might cost more than that to tear these things down, but they wouldn't have to do it all at once, clearly. And I think there would be an interim time where they would consider repurposing one or both of the facilities somehow. What that would be or why or how, I'm not really sure. One point, there was some talk that you could easily convert Kauffman Stadium into an outdoor amphitheater for the community or build a park there. It'd be a beautiful place for a park and maybe an amphitheater or some other things. I don't know. There's a lot of infrastructure there. That's for those people to figure out. If they lose both teams from that facility, they're going to have to figure out what to do with it. It's been a hell of a run. And the way it's all worked out, They did a pretty good job with it over the years. Uncanceled continues. Andrew Potter joins us next on KCMO. We welcome onto the show Andrew Potter for this Veterans Day. He's a U.S. Army veteran and entrepreneur. He founded ROKC Climbing Gym here in Kansas City. 3 tours in Afghanistan, 75th Ranger Regiment captain before returning to Kansas City for his passion of climbing and serving the community. He is an entrepreneur, a business owner, and has done unbelievable things with thebattlewithin.org as the co-founder, and that's why he joins us today. We'd love everyone to support The Battle Within if you could. Andrew, welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
Hey, Kevin, you're too kind. I appreciate you.
It always sounds silly from some, radio boy like me to say, but thank you for your service, and not just your military service, your incredible commitment and dedication to The Battle Within and the Kansas City area. You're a true star in our community. Thank you, sir, for all you do.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, let's start with The Battle Within. And the $3 million question in here is, how have you raised $3 million for The Battle Within playing wiffle ball?
It's definitely more on guys like, Mitch Wheeler and the development team at Battle Within. They really put on just an absolutely incredible experience. As you know, it's such a fun event, and it's like adults get to go be kids again and play a game, because once you get into your 40s and older, it's like agility's not there for baseball, and that's why people start, or tennis, and that's why people start playing pickleball. But, wiffle ball is just so much fun. It kind of keeps sucking you back in, and then obviously you get to have a lot of fun for a great cause.
It is a lot of fun, and I know that you do a lot of different things, and you've got a big dinner coming up in February that you and your wife are co-chairing, the Battle Within's annual Hero's Journey celebration, which is a huge fundraiser. You think you might be able to make about $500,000 on this event?
Yeah, I mean, it keeps growing and getting better every year. It's a really fun event. The team does a really great job putting together some incredible auction items, from the Chiefs and the Royals, and just kind of all over the NFL, from local artists and other local businesses, and then the people you're surrounded by is what makes it really special. There's going to be a lot of veterans there that have been through the program, the entire team. You get to hear the stories, you get to hear the impact that's been made over the last 8 years or so, and it's just it's a really fun event.
Andrew Potter, our guest from thebattlewithin.org. Before we talk about what you do and what your program is like for veterans and first responders, it's not just military veterans that get a healing path from PTSD. I felt like last year I saw an awful lot of involvement with the Royals in particular and their television partner getting a lot of exposure for the Battle Within. I'm not asking you to rank like your partners or whatever who's been real instrumental, but just my personal experience is the Royals have joined in a big way. Has that made a big difference for you? And who are some of the other companies that are really instrumental for you?
Yeah, the Royals have been absolutely wonderful. KU Med's been an incredible partner for us for a long time. And, I could go down a list of a ton of different companies that really help to support and drive the growth. And, there's an insane amount of local support. That's what's beautiful about Kansas City is, you have a community that really does care about their veterans and first responders.
All right, let's talk about the program. If a veteran or first responder is suffering from PTSD and they go to one of the camps, one of the programs with thebattlewithin.org, can you walk me through what that is like and why this is so effective?
Yeah, it's a 5-day cohort. It costs nothing. Everything is fully sponsored by the funds that we've raised for a veteran to go through the cohort. There's usually about 15 people in the cohort, either all males or all females, and with very similar shared experience. We're all, a lot of us have been, war veterans. I went through one of these myself a long time ago. We all share a common theme that we're all hard-charging war fighters that probably don't think that we need any help. And one of my favorite questions we always ask is, who wants to be here? And nobody raises their hand.
Right.
It's like, this is really something hard to commit to and want to do it. And then at the end of the week, when their lives are completely changed, they're a different human. They're a different human coming out of the cohort because they didn't realize how much they needed this. And that's what happened to me. It's not that I did or didn't want to go. I didn't think I needed to go, but I was like, hey, I'll give it a shot and see if it can be helpful. And by the end of the week, I was like, what the heck? I just didn't know what I didn't know. And I think that's part of the biggest issue with a lot of veterans, including myself, is like, you might be hurting or you might be frustrated, but your life's put together. Like, you've got a good job, family life's okay. You know, you've got some frustrations and stresses here and there, but you're like, I'm good. I'm fine. And you tell yourself you're good for years and years and years, but you're really not living up to 100% of who you can be as, you know, a father, a husband, somebody at work, and you probably don't even realize it. And what the Battle Within does in that 5 days is there's a lot of education around how going to war or being a police officer on the streets for 20 years actually affects and changes your brain. And we're really, really good at sending the soldiers to war. We're really good at building warfighters. We're really good at building absolute machines and robots that can go shut off all their emotions, shut off everything, and go get in a gunfight, right? What we're not great at doing as a United States military is bringing them home and then turning all the stuff back on that isn't a warfighting machine. So turning back on empathy and compassion and all these things. And it was kind of like I had a friend that get killed in Afghanistan, and we're at the church afterwards, and I don't shed a tear because I'm incapable of it. I'm absolutely incapable of it. And so, some of the teachings that we go through, you know, Brene Brown talks about some of this in her research about shame. And she says that, you know, you can't selectively numb emotions. So if you selectively numb the ability to cry or feel sadness or fear, you're also going to shut off the feeling of happiness or empathy or compassion. So even though you're like fairly put together and stable, when you should be happy about incredible things, it's really hard to be happy. But when stuff goes wrong, you're a rock, you're strong, you're not going to cry about it, you're probably not going to feel sorry for yourself. But then on the other side of things, you're not living life to the fullest because you're not experiencing the joy that you should be experiencing because you're so shut down. And,
right.
And what the cohort does is kind of help veterans understand how they can break out of that.
Wow. Andrew Potter with us, one of the founders of The Battle Within, online at thebattlewithin.org. They would love for anyone listening, if you have a business or just personally, if you can donate $20, $50, $100, whatever you got on this Veterans Day. These are wonderful programs for veterans and first responders. So it's not just limited to veterans. It's a great worthy cause. We would love companies to get involved. If you'd like to become a sponsor or be affiliated with this great charity, it's local. It is completely and totally the best. All right. So, Andrew, I'm a guy, I've been in sports broadcasting my whole life, and everything's quantified somehow. We keep score of runs or points, hits, errors, turnovers, whatever it may be. Everything's got a metric to it. I don't know when we started to figure out that we were doing wrong by veterans, but I remember when I was a younger man, all anybody did was complain about the VA. And they said the VA is not equipped to help the issues that some of these people have after they return from war. And they've seen things, and we didn't understand it really. And I know we've made tremendous strides, but if you were putting this in a metric, like where are we today? If we were at 0 or if we were at 1 on a scale of 1 to 100, 50 years ago on how we dealt with veterans, like after Vietnam, if we were at a 1 then, on our way to 100, having this issue kind of solved and figured out, where do you think we are right now in that progression? Because the Battle Within and other organizations are doing great work, but I know you have trouble reaching some people. Some people don't know how to, they're hard to reach, aren't they? Isn't that the biggest battle right now, is finding people? Where do you think we are on that scale?
On the scale, Battle Within's at a 90. I mean, it has made incredible strides. It's got an insane amount of research behind it. And obviously we're still learning, and no, you can't have a 100% fix for everything. But the big problem here is not necessarily specifically the VA. A big problem is just military culture. You know, I remember spraining my ankle when I was in the Army, and I was a scout sniper platoon leader at the time. And I was like, I'm going to go do the 5-mile run in the morning with the team. And if I hadn't showed up to that run and I had gone to see the medics and get my ankle worked on, people have been like, geez, what's wrong with the platoon leader? Is he getting soft? Like, seeking help is never something that was taught to us as a sign of strength. It was taught to us as a sign of weakness.
Yeah, it's not part of basic training, is it?
No, if you're sick, you just push through. If you're in pain, you push through. I'm in Ranger School, and I've got cellulitis in my arm from a spider bite. My entire arm is fully swollen and getting completely infected, and I just hid it from everybody for a full week so I could graduate and not get recycled. I didn't ask for help, and I got out. I immediately had to have surgery to like get my arm fixed because, and I mean, it could have cost me my arm, you know. But that's what veterans do. Veterans will lose a leg before they go ask for help, you know? Yeah. And so then when you're talking about, hey, I'm suffering from post-traumatic stress, now you're saying like, hey, I'm mentally weak, I'm mentally not strong. It's really hard for someone who's been through a lot of hard things and persevered to go say, hey, I'm raising my hand, I need help. That's right. Really hard to do.
Well, congratulations to you and everyone at the Battle Within for all the great work you've done with so many veterans and first responders. Man, it's just such an impressive organization. We're proud to be affiliated with it. Help any way we can. We hope our listeners get involved. It's thebattlewithin.org. Andrew Potter, keep up the great work. I know you're a busy man with your own businesses, but it is amazing what you're doing with the Battle Within. And it will, I think it will probably be your legacy one day, but just congratulations. Way to go. Just keep helping the veterans, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate the opportunity to talk with you today. Thank you.
All right, take care. There's Andrew Potter, co-founder of thebattlewithin.org. Go check him out. Support him if you can, any way that you can, and help a veteran or a first responder on this Veterans Day. This is Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio. Mark Van Sickle does not know this yet, but he's about to play Pick the Topic here to wrap up the show. You have 4 categories today, Mark. Are you ready?
Yeah.
You have music, modeling, money, or miracle.
Let's go music.
Music is the new amphitheater, Morton Salt Amphitheater in Riverside. They've announced some of the acts that are coming. Did you see some of them?
I saw Jack Johnson.
Yep. You like Jack Johnson?
I like Jack Johnson.
Is he in our bumper rotation?
I don't believe he is right now.
Maybe we should put some of these in.
We should.
Train is coming.
That's right.
What's Train's claim to fame here?
In Kansas City? I'm not sure.
Tavia Hunt's favorite band.
Okay.
They opened the new Arrowhead when they remodeled it.
Nice.
Because that was her favorite band at the time, and they hired them to come play at Arrowhead for that. Bare Naked Ladies coming. Rod Stewart's coming. John Mellencamp's coming. Weird Al's coming.
That's some good ones.
To the new amphitheater, yeah. Parker McCollum, country artist.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some stuff out there that's pretty cool. There is our music. What's next? We have modeling, money, or miracle?
Miracle.
The miracle is Broncos linebacker Alex Singleton. The Chiefs play the Broncos this week, and Singleton is out because he just had testicular cancer surgery. The tumor was removed. It is fine. A full recovery is expected, and he's expected to play football again at some point. Do you know the miracle?
Did he get hurt, and that's how they found it?
They found it with a random drug test.
Oh, wow.
His hormone level was exceedingly high. Something was wrong with the results. They thought he was taking performance-enhancing drugs and found testicular cancer.
It's crazy.
I've never heard of that. Normally when they catch you in an NFL drug test, it's bad news. May have saved his life. Certainly changed his life. That is a great story. That is an absolute miracle. Okay, we have money and modeling left.
Let's go modeling.
Modeling is Kim Kardashian. Does she count as a model?
Yeah.
She's a fashion model.
Yeah, she has her own designs and stuff.
She's not a supermodel, but a fashion model. She's fashioned many things. She has failed the bar exam.
Oh, great.
She's not going to be a lawyer after all.
Not shocked.
So it took her 3 tries to pass what they call the baby bar, which is the first test to get to take the actual bar. She did pass that, but she hasn't passed the bar exam. Now, before we make too much fun of her, remember in Trump 1.0, she went to the White House and got Trump to commute service time for a bunch of people that she thought were wrongly jailed for drug offenses that were not very serious. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So criminal justice is really a passion of hers, but it
Dad
is not.
was a lawyer, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's very nice to know that your fame, celebrity, money, whatever, can't buy you a law degree. There really kind of needs to be a standard in something like that. We would all agree with that, right?
That's appropriate, yeah.
That leaves us with money, Mark. This is a bad one.
Uh-oh.
Darren Payne of the Washington Commanders decided during a timeout last week against the Lions. This is the game Trump was at.
Oh, yeah.
The water boys are coming out, water ladies are coming out on the field, and the referees are taking a break. Everybody's getting a drink of water, but the cameras are still rolling. And young Mr. Payne walks over to Amon-Ra St. Brown of the Detroit Lions and just punches him for I don't know what reason.
I saw the clip. I was a little confused by it.
I know. It was so random. Everybody's just standing around, right?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, you never punch a guy with a helmet on because you're really only going to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
The NFL caught this, and because it was so egregious, it's a 1-game suspension, which equals for Darren Payne a $1.1 million fine.
It's a lot.
$1.1 million to punch an opponent on the field during a timeout. Can you imagine living in a world like that?
No, it also shows me how smart this guy is.
Right.
Punching a guy with a helmet on and losing $1.1 million.
And it's a given that if you do it, you're going to get suspended. You can't go do this and expect to play. That's just not part of the deal.
Yeah.
It never works like that. So that's pretty cool. All right, here's a poll for you, Mark. I like this one. The question was asked of Democrat voters, registered Democrats, who leads the Democrat Party? With 21%, who do you think won?
Let's go with Mom Donnie.
No. 21% don't know.
Oh, so don't know one.
Don't know.
That was a trick question.
Second place was Kamala with 16%.
Oh, my.
Third place with 11% is who?
Bernie?
Nobody.
No.
No, I'm not joking. Number 1 in the poll was don't know. Number 3 in the poll was nobody.
Oh, my.
AOC, 1%.
Man, they're having a great time.
Oh, they're having a rough time. They asked Republicans who leads the Republican Party, and it's obviously Donald Trump. What do you figure that number was?
Probably 90%?
86%. Yeah. I'm not sure who would say anyone else at this point. And maybe there were people that said they were Republicans when the pollster contacted them. They're not really. Because I can't imagine. That should be really close to 100% if you were polling Republicans.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you like him leading it, but there's no question who's leading it. And we mentioned Morton Salt moving to Overland Park. They got a real problem in Illinois. 39th in the country, business friendly. There are threats by McDonald's, Kellogg's, Kimberly-Clark, and more to leave Illinois as well. Let's go.
Let's bring them to OP.
Let's get them here. Let's get them to Kansas City. Somewhere here. Let's get working on. Let's get competitive and start taking stuff from Illinois in the Kansas City metro area. Thanks for being here for Uncanceled. The Vince Show is up next. Have a great day.